It's Mental Health Awareness Week. Please have a listen to what Jonathan's got to say about losing his dad.
So, 3 weeks ago, as of tomorrow, I lost my dad. Probably seen a lot about it in the media, not in a very nice way. My dad didn't want to die, but he also didn't want to live with the thought that the farm might disappear at the hands of the government. You know, he's worked all his life. He was a third generation farmer. I'm now the fourth generation farmer, and he could not bear the thought that the government has brought this new inheritance tax legislation in that would take the farm off future generations, not just me, but also my children. I mean, that pain, you know, you've worked all your life, 7 days a week, unsociable hours, very few holidays, few days off, you know, for not a lot of income. Yes, you know, farms might be asset rich, there might be a lot of value in the land, but we don't realise that value. If we wanted to realise the value, we'd sell up and put it in some sort of investment, you know, and live the life of luxury, but we don't. The land doesn't really belong to any of us. It didn't really belong to my dad, didn't really belong to my granddad, it'll never belong to me. We're just guardians of this land. We look after it for the next generation, and hopefully that generation will then look after it for the generation after that. You know, all this you see here, this wouldn't be here without farmers. Farmers keep the countryside as it is. People talk about protecting the countryside, but the countryside is the way it is because of the way it's farmed, and the small farmers are the ones that keep that tradition going. So for the government to try and take that away, and there's no way we could survive, you know, if we had to find a huge inheritance tax bill, just nowhere. There isn't any cash spare in the system. There's barely enough cash to live. So how on earth the government think we're going to find that sort of money, I do not know. Only way we could do it is sell off a chunk of the farm, which would make it totally unviable, you know, and then if we sold the chunk of the farm off, where would it go? It'd probably go where we are. We're surrounded by big conurbations, probably go to some sort of either for horse paddocks or, you know, people that wanted to just play. It wouldn't be farmed. That farming tradition would be lost, and that is what we're trying to save. We don't want any more families going through this, and I know there are a lot of families that are really struggling at the moment with the thought of how they're going to get through this inheritance crisis. It's a nightmare. It really is. It's a nightmare. I don't know. My dad might have been the first. He's not going to be the last if they don't sort this out. You know what? We've got 18 months till this comes in. How are people going to sort this out in 18 months? They're not. So, you know, suicide is at a seriously high rate in agriculture as it is, and this is just going to increase it. It's going to devastate a lot more families. There's going to be a lot more suicides in agriculture if this isn't sorted out. You know, we've gone through foot and mouth, we've gone through blue tongue, MVZs, cattle TB, you know, everything we've thrown at us, all the red tape that's thrown at us, we get through it, but this is just the final nail in the coffin. You know, people just cannot see a way through it. There just isn't a way through it without selling chunks of the farms off and making it unviable. I mean, all we want to do is farm. We want to create food, good food, kept in, you know, this sort of surroundings, and put it on the shelves for the consumer, you know, so they're fed. That's all we want to do. And you've got people in the Labour Party saying we don't need farmers. Well, good luck. Get rid of the farmers, you get rid of the food. So, you know, don't bite the hand that feeds you. It's distressing. I mean, for our family it's utterly distressing, but there's many more families that are going through this distress right now that just haven't got a way out, and I really do hope that nobody else takes this way out, because it's truly devastating.
And you got to listen to Jonathan. What a sad story. And what's even sadder is there's many more people like Jonathan out there. The young, the old. Suicide doesn't choose people. of age, of colour, of, you know, of sex. It's just across the board. Many lives are lost to suicide. And within the agricultural sector, it is scary at the moment. You know, on a personal basis, many years ago, I lost a very good friend, who helped on the farm, worked on the farm, a great character, a very nice individual who, lost his life. And we know, when we talk to people, and I do, because my platform on our social media has hundreds of thousands, well, millions of followers across the board, and I can tell you, I have never ever had so many messages from all kinds of individuals within the industry. Things need to change. We can't carry on as we are. The industry is on its knees. Governments, supermarkets, you know, nobody's listening to the people that are in pain, that are struggling. And we can all do a little bit. We can all ask our fellow farmers and friends, how are you? Well, it doesn't even have to be a farmer. It doesn't even have to be a friend. It can be just a normal person, and you can just ask them, how are you? Are you okay? And we have to drive this forward, because there is solutions to every single problem that we have on God's earth. And, you know, if you find solace in religion, if you find solace, you know, spiritually, mentally, physically, whatever, search for it. We have a saying in Welsh, lle i'r enaid cael llonydd, a place for your soul to find peace. And we have to drive that in life. We have to find that in life to be happy. But the constant barrage of pressure from, you know, governments now with the inheritance tax. Here in Wales we have an SFS, which is a sustainable farming scheme that's coming in, that could, you know, totally change the whole way that many farms are run. These are family farms, as you heard from Jonathan. They're the beating heart of our countryside, and they need to be protected. We don't want charity, you know, we don't want sympathy. We love what we do. We love being in the outdoors, producing food, but we have to have a fair price for what we're producing. And I think the word respect, acknowledgement from governments, you know, they haven't sat down to talk to anybody about this inheritance tax. They've sat there, they've crunched the numbers, got everything wrong, and not thought of the consequences, while people are taking their own lives, while people are going to their doctors to seek medication for depression, for feeling low, for feeling suicidal. This is not the industry we should be in. You know, we should be in an industry where we're working together to produce affordable, good food for the nation, and engaging with our consumer and customer, getting feedback, and getting people to understand that it's not a supermarket or a government that's producing food. And this global agenda to push down the livestock numbers across the world is madness. It's absolutely madness, especially in countries like here, Wales, Great Britain. You know, we have a temperate climate. We have a lot of rain usually. It's quite dry at the moment. And we have this green stuff on a lot of marginal land where we can grow grass. where we can transport that grass into milk, into cheese, into yogurts, into ice creams. We can transport that grass into top quality protein, beef and lamb. You know, with some of the highest nutrient density protein that you'll get on God's earth. And this is what farmers can do. My family's been on this farm for 375 years. I do not want to be the last generation here. I want the people that are coming after me to enjoy this land and to be able to make a living. And the majority of farmers will never be these multi-millionaires that, you know, some of these politicians are calling us. Our investment is in the land. It's working capital. And that working capital is giving us a 1% return for what we're doing. No other business on earth is that flipping stupid. No other business, no other industry will be working 7 days a week, 365 days. Because we have to. But we're not complaining. We're not complaining. We're complaining about the way we're treated from governments and supermarkets. We're seeing dairy farmers pouring milk down the drain. We've got food banks in this country. We've got food shortages in some of the shops because of these cyber attacks. Imagine if we lose more farmers. Imagine if these multinational corporations start to buy more land, offset their carbon to plant trees, produce more factory foods, processed foods from insects, from, you know, these fake meats made in labs. Do you think that's the future? Or do you believe that we need to be protecting our farming communities? Because it's you, the consumer and the customer, that can make the difference. Asking the questions to your politicians, supporting British agriculture, mental health awareness will be top of the list for this week, but it shouldn't be for 1 week. It should be all the year round. We should be there for everybody. And if we get things right, mental health will heal within the farming industry. So over the next week, there will be many videos put out. I'll give you a little taster of the 3 people that came to sit here at MentalHealthAwareness with me and talk about the people they lost and the stresses and strains they are under as farmers. A very interesting and very powerful day today here at MentalHealthAwareness. We're filming a little piece for Espedarec about mental health awareness, and we've got a few farming friends. This gentleman's not going to be introduced because he's keeping incognito, but we've got Martin Civil over there, Sarah Lewis over there, and we've got our producer, hello, Yvonne, in camera, Dewi. And it'll be out very, very soon, and it's all for Mental Health Awareness Week. And I think it's really important that as an industry we are beginning to talk a little bit more about the problems and making sure and hopefully finding solutions for what is a very, very dark time for quite a lot of people within our farming industry. If you've watched this video till the end, thank you very much. Diolch yn fawr iawn. And I can ask a little favour. Please can you share it? If we can save one life by asking somebody how they are today, I think we've done a good deed. Have a wonderful day.